Hey guys, so today I'm going to make an extremely simple dessert, which is also one of my favorite all-time desserts, and that's baked custard. I found online this Betty Crocker recipe that I'm pretty sure is the same recipe that my mom used to use when she made baked custard when I was growing up. And it's a very nostalgic, very simple dessert that I really love, so I want to share it with all of you. So let's get going. So here's the recipe. It's from BettyCrocker.com. And as you can see, it's extremely simple. Egg, sugar, vanilla, little salt, milk, some nutmeg on top. The one modification I'm going to make is to add a bit of cayenne pepper, just to add a little bit of complexity to the flavor. This custard is so sweet on its own that it really, it can handle the cayenne. It's not going to come out spicy, I don't think. It'll just, like I said, give it a little bit of complexity. So I'm making a double recipe today, so I've got 6 eggs instead of 3, and the first step is just to whip them up. Next we add some sugar. Okay, so for the double recipe we need 2/3 of a cup of sugar. I already put in the first third. Here is the second, and then we'll whisk again. Now in the meantime I put my milk in a Pyrex container and in the microwave because the recipe asks you to add warm milk to this egg and sugar mixture. But before that, I'm going to add vanilla and salt. Now for this double batch, the recipe would only call for 2 teaspoons of vanilla, but I'm going to add something more like 2 tablespoons because I love vanilla. So why not? Oh, that smells so good. God, I just love that smell. So vanilla, a dash of salt. Oh, and then I'm going to add some cayenne as well before we stir the milk in. So it just asks for a dash of salt. So I'm going to give 2 or 3 dashes. That should do it. And my secret ingredient, cayenne pepper. Going to give a healthy dose. There's so much sugar in here, and then between the milk and the eggs, I think it's just going to eat all that pepper right up. So now I've got all my base ingredients here, and I'm going to give it a very thorough whisking. Try and get that sugar dissolved as much as possible. And it's looking pretty good. And the last step is to slowly pour in the warm milk. The recipe said it should be between 120 and 130 degrees. And with 5 cups of milk for my double recipe, after about 4.5 minutes in the microwave, I just checked the temperature and it's at 124 degrees, so that's pretty good. And this is heavy, but we'll see if I can pour it slowly and incorporate it gently into my egg mixture. A little extra whisking at the end to make sure we got everything fully incorporated. I'm going to give this a taste just to see how our balance of flavors is doing. And you know, really barely get the cayenne. I'm going to add a bit more. I think that should do it. Alright, so our custard mixture is ready. Now traditionally the custard is served in little dishes or ramekins, but I find it's easier to just bake it in a big dish like this and portion it out later. So I'm not quite sure if the double recipe is all going to fit in here. We're about to find out. It's darn close. Alright, I'm just going to go for it. I think ideally I wouldn't have the dish filled quite that full, but yeah, it shouldn't make too much of a difference, I don't think. So there we go. That's the custard. And then the final step is to put some ground nutmeg on top. And I happen to have some whole nutmeg cloves here, so I'm going to grind that fresh. The nutmeg adds a nice little bit of spice on top to go with the rest of our flavors there. There we go, that's looking pretty good. So the key to baking the custard is to do it in a water bath. Surrounding this dish in water is what's going to allow the custard to bake slowly for the heat of the eggs to cook slowly and gently, which will help us get that great custard texture. Alright, so I've got my oven here preheated to 350 degrees, and first I put this foil pan down, and then I carefully put the Pyrex dish with the custard in the pan, and now I'm going to add the water to the foil pan around the custard dish. I find that this is a lot easier than trying to carry the whole assembled 2 pans with water to the oven, and trying not to spill is very hard. So I think this is a better way to go. Looks like I'm going to need just a little more water, so I'll go get some. And that should do it. Grab my oven mitts and see if I can slide this in gently. Mission accomplished. Alright, so we've got the custard in the oven. The recipe says it should bake for about 45 minutes, but that's assuming that you pour it into the little ramekins. Given that I have one big dish, it's definitely going to take longer for the center to get cooked. The test is, can you put a knife in the middle and have it come out clean? I'm guessing it's going to take at least an hour for me for that, but we'll see. So it has been just about exactly an hour, but if you look, if I slide this gently, the custard is still extremely liquidy, is the only word for it. So with the custard still that loose, I think we're going to need at least 20 minutes, so like an hour and 20 minutes total if you're making a double batch and putting it in one dish like I am. I think is at least as much as we're going to need.
It's on.
So after 20 minutes...
Whoa, Don.
There we go. After another 20 minutes, the knife came out very clean, so I hope I didn't overdo it, but we're definitely done. And the way to remove this is start with the custard. And then now you can move the hot water more slowly and the water level goes down a bit. So this now needs to cool in the fridge for several hours actually before you eat it. You want it to set up and you serve it cold. So I'll show you what that looks like when we get there.
You can just let that cool in the oven.
Yeah, I was gonna. By the way, I forgot to mention, this is extremely hot when it comes out of the oven, obviously. So I am letting it cool, on this rack on the stove, for a while till it gets at least remotely warm instead of very hot before I put it in the fridge. Just because I've heard that uses up a whole lot of energy if you put something really hot in the fridge, and also I don't think it's very good for the food right around it because it throws off a lot of heat. So anyway, this will sit for a while, I think, before it goes in the fridge. So the custard has been in the fridge for close to 3 hours at this point, and it's nice and firm now and cool to the touch, so I think it's ready to eat. Just gonna spoon a little bit into my dish here. It looks great. I just love that texture. Alright, so time to give the custard a try. There it is. Oh yeah. Oh. There's just something about this that it just makes me happy. It just makes me feel like a kid. It's really sweet. It's extremely sweet. Got that great smooth texture. Just that little bit of cayenne just gives it a little kick. Really, I mean, I put a fair amount of cayenne in there. You can hardly taste it. Just adds a little bit of undertone. I hope you guys give this a try and enjoy it, and thanks for watching.